You were dead. I saw your head get chopped off.
Death? I am death itself.
This is not my story. This is the story of a prince who became Dracula. But how? How did an heir to the throne, amidst betrayal and blood, transform into a dark and eternal being? To understand this, we must go back to the past. In a land called Wallachia, located deep in Eastern Europe, a man named Vlad II Dracula lived. He was a king known for his violence and cruelty, a man who would let nothing stand in his way to power. Vlad II was famously known by the mysterious title, Vlad the Impaler. In Romanian, Dracula means son of the dragon. But even in the heart of darkness and boundless power, a greater threat was growing. This threat was Vlad's nephew, Radu. Radu, from his childhood, harbored a thirst for power and plotted deviously in his heart. Raised in the shadow of his uncle, Radu was never satisfied with his position. His uncle's kingdom meant more to him than anything, and he was willing to do anything to take it. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire, terrified of Vlad II's power and cruelty, saw an opportunity. Radu, fully aware of their fear, struck a deal with the Ottomans. He promised that, in exchange for their help in killing his uncle and seizing the throne, he would deliver Vlad's young son to them. The Ottomans, fearing Vlad II's threats, agreed to the offer. Ah, the cost of greed and ambition. Radu betrayed in the darkness. He took young Vlad into the forest where he fell into the trap he himself had set. Without a shred of mercy, Radu killed Vlad II. The man who had fought for years to protect his throne was now killed by someone he had raised as a son. Young Vlad, the bloody heir to the throne, was now a prisoner in enemy hands. He was taken to Constantinople, where the towering walls were more a cage for prisoners than a defense for the people. Years of suffering began, years that would plant darkness deep into his soul. Torture, humiliation, and the imposition of an uncertain fate made him realize that in this world, only power shapes destiny. But in this dark world, Vlad met a man who would change his life forever. This man, chained in the same prison, had an intense gaze, and his silence shattered the heaviness of the night. At first, Vlad thought he was just another ordinary prisoner, but soon he realized this man was far more than a mere captive. He was a living legend, a master who thrived in the shadows. His name was Stefan Dushin. A man who had once sat on the throne of a mighty empire, but was betrayed by his brother and dragged to captivity and ruin. When Stefan heard Vlad's story, he saw something in the young man's eyes, a flame of vengeance, a fire that could not be extinguished. He decided to teach Vlad lessons that no one, not even his father, had ever dreamed of. Stefan taught him how to move in the shadows, how to use the fear of his enemies as a weapon, how to wield patience like a sharp blade and strike at the right moment. He taught Vlad that the world was built on oppression and power, and only those who were not afraid of the darkness could rule over men. This was how the king of the world saw it. Years passed. Vlad was no longer the frightened, helpless child. He had become a man whose eyes reflected nothing but coldness and vengeance. But just as he was preparing to leave the prison and begin his journey, his master, Stefan, fell ill and was near death. In his last moments, he placed his trembling hand on Vlad's shoulder and spoke in a weak but firm voice. "One time, I was a powerful king, but I failed to see those around me. Even my brother betrayed me and took me down from my throne. Now you have taken the path I couldn't continue. Promise me that you will avenge me, Vlad. Don't let the betrayal go unanswered." Vlad, with eyes devoid of emotion, fixed his gaze on the man who had taught him everything. Then, for the first and last time, he knelt and said, "You were my first and last master. Your vengeance, along with mine, will be taken." And that night, his master died in silence. After years, Vlad was finally freed from his prison, but he was no longer the helpless boy. He had become a man, one whom his enemies would one day remember as the Devil of Wallachia.